And here we are, the picture essay guidelines. This is the video where we will go and see what exactly specifically is required from you if you choose to write the picture essay. The required elements in your writing. If we were going to do this in our class, this is what I would go over with you before we started writing. So, you need to create a picture in the reader's mind. The details should be developed via the five senses. Okay, don't forget that. Now, do you have to have the five senses? No, because sometimes the sense of smell has nothing to do with what it is you're writing. So just be conscious that the human senses need to be considered in your description. Show, don't tell. It's not a narrative, so don't fall into the narrative trap. If you begin to write and you're unsure if you're too narrative or not, just wave me over. Send me an email or Instagram or whatever. Just let me know before you get too far. If you're doubting, just ask, okay? There's nothing wrong in asking and you're not bothering me at all. Use figures of speech. Similes and metaphors, personifications, hyperbole, onomatopoeia, which is really fun to say, so we'll say it 15 times just to laugh. All of these contribute to your description. They're extremely important. Your writing will feel slow. It doesn't mean there cannot be any action, but the action has to be minimal. So if your character is sitting on a rocking chair on a porch on a bright sunny day, your character does not need to remain seated on that chair for the entire essay, but the action is not the focus. Use enriched vocabulary, which should be used throughout the essay. There's a lot of PowerPoints videos out there. There's one that's called Vocabulary. I strongly suggest that you take a look at that one and even pause it and take pictures of it, of the slides that you're interested in. And transition words are a must to ensure the flow of your text, okay? Now, transition words, it doesn't mean that, I'm looking for firstly, blah, 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 blah. That's not what we mean. When we're talking about transition words here in this essay, we mean transitions in between descriptions. So if at one point you're at the beach and you're describing what you're seeing, and then you're going to turn around, you're going to talk about the canteen and the smell of food, you can't just abruptly bring me over to the canteen. There has to be a transition in there. Usually you guys do them pretty naturally. Structuring your descriptive essay, because it is still structured in a way, so you do need to have a subject, which in this case is inspired by your picture that you had chosen. And you can change your picture if you want to. So I'm not going to read all of this. If ever you're interested in reading it, you could pause the video and read it yourself. But basically, you got to have a subject. You got to know where you're going. So I often like to have somewhat of a plan, not down to the nitty-gritty details, but at least I should have an idea of where I want to go with this. If we take, for example, the old essay we read in class about the Twin Towers, if you remember, that essay could not have been written without knowing where it was going. So having a direction or having an idea helps you maybe leave little trails here and there in your essay. But it doesn't mean you're not allowed to change your mind along the way, because creativity is, quite unique, and maybe once you get going, you really want to go in another direction, and that's also okay. Select your dominant details. So remember your dominant impression, your main feel of this. Make sure that, you come back to it once in a while so we don't get lost. You have to be organized. It's not a willy-nilly essay. You really do have to have some sort of organization in there. Otherwise, your reader will get lost. Of course, you have to use descriptive words. So, for example, I ate a good dinner. Well, it doesn't tell me much as a reader. I don't even know what you had. Why was it good? Like, do you know what I mean? If we say, I devoured a steaming hot cheese-filled oh my God, pepperoni pizza for dinner, wouldn't that be good? So, see the difference? Okay, both dinners were good, but this one, I can tell what it tastes like. You need sensory details, okay? The smells that are in the air, the sounds, the sights, the touch, right? And the taste, if, of course, it's conclusive to your essay. And you have to draw a logical conclusion here. Here it says the conclusion may also use descriptive words, however, make certain the conclusion is logical and relevant. I'm going to go like a plus or minus here. I'm going to leave that up to you. Um, I think I know what they mean by logical. It has to fit. Now, if we're thinking of logical in that way, it has to fit with your work. That I agree. But logical, as in, well, it cannot end this way because it would never. No, I don't agree with that. I think you do have room for fantastic um, genre here. So that one's totally up to you. I have included here your main figurative language, which I adore, and some of you don't. But anyways, you've got the similes, the metaphors. You can pause this at any time to take a look at what they are. You should know them by now. Personifications, the overstatement or hyperbole, the understatement, which is often fun to use, the sounds or the onomatopoeia, and symbols. We had just begun to take a look at symbols, but symbols are so important. If ever you want the challenge to insert a symbol in there, give me a shout and we'll work on it. It's an awesome challenge to try to attain, well, fulfill, whatever. You get me. So here's a recap of your required elements. You need to create a picture in your reader's mind. The details should be developed via the senses, as many as you can fit in there that still make sense. Show, don't tell. It's not a narrative. So don't say Philip got up in the morning and had breakfast and blah, blah, blah. Be careful. You can, but just be careful. Have your figures of speech. Your writing will feel slow, enriched vocabulary, and transition words. All right? Remember this, extremely important. How do I go there? Extremely important. Have a plan or a general idea of where you want to go, but be flexible if your creativity brings you somewhere else. Write, 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 write. You will edit later. If you are stopping your creative juices from flowing because you're looking for the perfect word right now, it's not gonna work and you're not going to enjoy writing this. So just sit down or stand up or whatever and write. You will edit after, okay? You will need to edit. You cannot be done once you've written what you want. You need to read it over and over again. You need to rewrite certain sections. You may even trash complete paragraphs and start all over. You'll have to rewrite certain words. You can have someone else read it for feedback because sometimes you're just too much in it. If you want me to read it, I'll be happy to. Even if it's like, oh, I have this one paragraph I'm not sure of, go ahead. Don't hesitate. Ultimately, you want to expand your writing abilities. So go for it. And I know that you can. And even if you tell me, well, I'm going to study psychology next year, in September actually, this has nothing to do with it. No, writing a descriptive essay is so good for your writing skills. And I would say it's better for your writing skills than the research paper. The research paper will be good to show you how to structure an essay and how to do things the way post-secondary institution want the paper to look. Um, but as far as language skills, this is it. Like, this is really, really good. I've included a sample, which I will not be reading to you right now, but of course you can pause the video and read. What I enjoy about this is that on this side here, you have an explanation of what we have in the sample. So yes, you need a title. Yes, your title needs to be creative. And yes, it has to have a link to what you're writing. So I have this slide here and this one and this one. Now you'll notice they have 3 body paragraphs. You don't have to have that. That's totally up to you. Your essay could be an intro, 1 body paragraph, 1 conclusion. It could be an intro, 2 body paragraphs, one conclude. Like the amount of paragraphs you have in the body is completely up to you. You do need an intro and you do need a conclusion, however. So I think that's my last slide. And if there's anything I can help you with, you just let me know. Thank you much.